Wiedersehen Pet TV episode review. This episode is called The Fugitive, and it is Saturday morning, and after a long night of drinking alcohol, which last night the boys decided to, for the weekend, go fishing, they are all waking up very groggy and very tired and don't really want to do anything. But Neville wants to go fishing, so after pestering Dennis, Bomber, Moxie and Barry into going, and Barry has decided not to have a shave, he wants to try and grow a beard, Neville and Dennis go down to the car hire shop, hire out a car, and head back to the hut to pick up the rest of them. Barry will be on his motorbike later on, meeting up with them. But Wayne doesn't want to go with them because he doesn't want to go out into the countryside and he doesn't like fishing, and neither does Oz. Oz has kind of been feeling a little bit left out of late, so he's decided not to go with them. Now, the last couple of nights there's been a spate of break-ins on the site and graffiti sprayed all over the site, and the lads warn Oz about that and say, look, if you catch them, perfect, but you know, don't put yourself into any danger. Now, Dennis, Neville, Moxie and Barry head off to a little village somewhere in Germany. Then we find out that Wayne is attempting to try and impress this young woman who works in the post office in the town, and Oz is considering leaving Germany and going back home to England because he just feels completely left out and nobody really wants him there in Germany anymore. Transitioning back onto the road trip, Dennis and Neville stop to pick up a hitchhiker who is a British man called Colin, who looks a bit rough. Doesn't look as if he's, you know, slept inside for a long time. He hasn't had a shave or anything like that, and they're a bit kind of thinking, you know, what's this guy up to? They give him a lift to the village where they're staying, and once they get there, they say, oh look, you know, is this okay? We're not going in, you know, this is as far as we're going. You have to go and try and find somewhere else. So, thank you very much. Very nice of you to give me a lift. Yeah, so then what ends up happening is Wayne has obviously spent the entire day and night impressing the girl from the post office, and they spend the night together. Oz, in the meantime, spent the day in the local bar having a few drinks, and then on his way home he realises that the vandals are back, and he chases them, and they on their escape they throw paint all over him, and what he's wearing is obviously ruined, which means to him that this is war and he's not going to have it. Now, in the meantime, back with Dennis, Neville, Bomber and Moxie, they're sitting in a pub in the local village when Barry finally arrives, and after a few drinks in there, the barman comes over to their table and say, someone's just trying to steal your motorcycle, and they go out and check to make sure nothing's been taken or anything. Next morning, Wayne comes home and talks to Oz, and Oz is pretty much almost completely determined to say, look, I can't stay here anymore, you know, I'm done, I'm going home. And Wayne's like, no, don't worry, look, you know, just give yourself a couple more days, wait until the lads come back and you'll realise how much they like you and they'll miss you. Back over in the countryside, the rest of the lads have gone out fishing, and they spot Colin the hitchhiker from the other day is lying by the river, shivering cold. He's been there all night. And Dennis is like, look lad, there's the key to, remember where we dropped you off? There's the key to our hotel room. Go and have yourself a bath, a bit of a kip, maybe eat something, and we'll see you when we get back. And then Barry says later on, you're a very trusting individual, Dennis. Most of the people would suspect that he's probably going back to the hotel room, and he's stealing all our belongings, and you'll never see him again. At which point, all of them race back to the hotel, and they see him after a wash, and he's sitting there having something to eat. It's around this time where they're heading back home, and he says, look, obviously you haven't got anything, no plans or anything, because he said he's a student, he's a traveller and all this sort of stuff, and he's got a girlfriend he's trying to go and see who lives on the other side of Germany. So many different stories. So they said, well, look, why don't you come back to where we work on the site, and you can be a labourer and all that sort of stuff, and you might be able to get a bit of money so you can travel the rest of the way. He says, yeah, alright, yeah, why not, I'll do that, yeah, sure. So that's what they do. They take him back to the site, and everyone likes him. Everyone thinks Colin's a nice bloke, but Oz still feels like he's being left out, and nobody really wants him. Once everything kind of calmed down a bit, Colin's kind of got into the routine of working with the lads and all that sort of stuff, and then the police turn up because there was a break-in over the weekend, and Colin sees the police officers and they run off. He just runs off without an explanation or anything. At lunchtime, the lads meet up in their hut, and Wayne says, I know why he keeps on running away, you know why his story never really makes any sense. It's because he's in the British Army and he's a deserter, absent without leave. So they say, right, okay, next time we'll sort this all out. And then that night they hear a noise. They think those vandals are back. Actually, turns out they're not vandals at all. What they are is it's actually Colin, who is just trying to get back onto the site without being seen. Unfortunately, the police are there as well, and they arrest Barry. But back in the hut, Wayne and everyone, Dennis, Wayne, Neville, and all of them talk to him, saying, "Look, come on, look, how long have you been absent without leave? If we get you back there as soon as we possibly can, you might not get in too much trouble," kind of thing. And he basically says about how much he hates being in the army, he hates working with people, in the platoon that he's in, and all that sort of stuff. And they're just like, "No, come on, look, like sometimes we don't like each other, but we all get on because we're all friends. We've gone through hard stuff together. We'll go through the good stuff together. We're just good mates." It's around this time where Oz changes his mind and realises they do really want him around. It's just the way they are, and that's it. And then the next morning they send Colin off to the train station to go and meet back up with the army. Then Barry is, of course, released from the police station because they find out that he's not a vandal or anything. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. The score that I'm going to give this episode is a number 4. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you next week. Goodbye.